Hey everybody, we're back. Lisa Rogers with Simply Southern Recipes by Rocket City Girls, based in Huntsville, Alabama. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make porcupines. If you've never heard of porcupines, they are pretty much a rice meatball, and they're in tomato sauce. What we're going to do though is we're going to make some polenta, southern style polenta, and then we're going to fry it, and then we're going to serve our meatballs over that with some fried green tomatoes and caramelized balsamic onions on the side. Sounds delicious to me. Old southern staple. Used to feed a lot of people back in my day. Not so much the polenta, but the other part. So I wanted to do the polenta, just jazz it up a little bit, something new, something different. But here we go. We're going to start off with 14.5 ounces of chicken broth. And I'm going to get that up to a hard boil, and then we'll start with everything else. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright. While we're waiting on our chicken broth to boil, we'll go ahead and get this started. I've got a cup of yellow cornmeal, not cornmeal mix. This is just yellow cornmeal. You have to have that. 1 cup. Half a cup of good old grits. Just plain grits. Half of a teaspoon of garlic salt. A full teaspoon of basil, a half a stick of melted butter, and let's see, got just a little cool sitting there, but this chicken broth is going to melt it right back down, so no big deal. Alrighty, now I've got some Parmesan cheese. You can use this stuff in the can if you want to. This was on sale, I went ahead and got it. I normally just sprinkle about a good handful in mine. A little extra for measure. Okay. Now, my broth is boiling. So, I'm just going to start adding a little at a time. Sometimes you need all of it, sometimes you don't need all of it. It just depends how it absorbs. Alright. Pour a little. Whisk. Pour a little more. Ooh! Don't do that, whatever you do. Alright. And just keep stirring. That's what you want. And just a splash of heavy whipping cream. Just like that. Now, what we did, see, you just have a very little bit left. We went ahead and got some parchment paper and lined our bread pan so that we can easily lift it out. But what you do is you pour it like this. Oh, it smells divine. Okay. Take this little spoon. Set that right there. Make sure it's all nice and incorporated. There we go. Now, what we do next, we put this in the refrigerator and let it cool 2 to 3 hours. It'll congeal and become like a jello. And then we'll lift it out, slice it up, pan fry it. It's delicious. So, we'll see you back in just a second and we'll get started on our porcupines. Alright, well, we got the polenta in the refrigerator and it is chilling. Now it's going to turn into like a jello mold. Then once it gets done, we're going to dip it in some warm water so it'll slide right out with that parchment paper. Then we'll cut it up and fry it. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get our porcupines going, but we got to get the tomato sauce simmering first. It has to be nice and hot to drop the meatballs in. Now you could fry your meatballs, but this is just so much easier. So first we start off with 10.75 ounces of tomato soup. This is just for the sauce part. Okay, then you fill this up, this can, halfway with water. Just like that. Okay. Next, you add 15 ounces of tomato sauce. And I always add just a little bit of water in here and swish it around to get all of it out, because you're going to need it. Okay. Mix this all up. Okay, then splash a little Worcestershire in it. A little salt to taste, and a little nutmeg, very little nutmeg on the top. And you bring this to like a medium high. While that's warming up, we'll go ahead and get our meatballs started. I got 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 eggs. We'll start off with the eggs. There we go. Alrighty. Now, you need a 1/2 cup of long grain rice. Okay. Now, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of Worcestershire. Okay. Now, teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 heaping teaspoons of parsley flakes, 2 teaspoons of celery salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Mix this all together. Do like my granny did it. Do it with my fingers. She always said the best tool in the kitchen was at the end of your arm. And she was right about most everything. Okay. These are very easy and they're delicious. They go a long way. Okay. Next, I'm going to start making my meatballs. Okay, our sauce is boiling. I just stirred it, so you can't see the bubbles right now, but I'm going to start dropping these in one at a time until they start looking like they're done. And then I'll add more throughout the next few minutes, because I don't want them falling apart. You have to be very gentle with them at first. This is how my granny did it. Okay. It made quite a bit of meatballs, actually, which is always a good thing, especially when you have a larger family, hungry mouths to feed. Okay, that's good for right now. Let these get somewhat done and then I'll add some more. Alright everybody, we slid the southern style polenta out, cut it up. Now we got it in a little bit of olive oil and a pat of butter, and we're frying it very well done. Then when it's time to eat, we'll put this underneath and put a couple of meatballs and some sauce on top of it. It soaks up that sauce really nice, but you can always double this recipe if you want to. I just made a small bit for me and my husband this time, And another thing, if it's too soft when you start trying to cut it up and stuff, you can always freeze it, hard freeze it, and then cut it up and fry it real quickly. And it'll stay together because it's got that Parmesan and stuff in it. So, once this is done, we'll put this to the side, but let's get started on our fried green tomatoes with caramelized balsamic onions. Now we're going to make our caramelized onions with balsamic vinegar to go with our fried green tomatoes. So I've got a little olive oil, same pan I did the polenta in. So didn't bother cleaning it up or nothing because that's just silly. A pat of butter. Now, put these onions in. This is something you kind of do low and slow. You don't fast cook them because otherwise it would turn into like onion rings. You want them getting caramelized, soft. So do that. Put a little pinch of salt. Draw that moisture out. Then I put a tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay, let's see. Where is my wooden spoon? Okay, can't find my wooden spoon, so there we go. Let's kind of start stirring it up like that. Right now I've got it on 6. I'm going to turn it down to just medium. And I'm going to add my balsamic vinegar. This will sweeten it also. Okay, we got those going. Fixing to get these fried green tomatoes going. So, cup of flour, cup of buttermilk, cup of regular cornmeal, yellow. I use a heaping teaspoon of seasoned salt in my flour, and then I use a heaping teaspoon of cayenne in my cornmeal. We like them a little spicy in this house. So, get these mixed up. Alright, perfect. And our onions are over there still caramelizing. And I serve these with a homemade horsey sauce. Absolutely delicious. Alright, let's get these tomatoes going. A little bad spot there, right there. Shape the end off. I cut the core out. A lot of people leave them in there. I don't enjoy them. There we go. But that's about the thickness we're going for, like 1/4 of an inch. Alright. Now what we do is we put that in our flour mixture, just like that. Then we put it in the buttermilk, just like that. And then we coat it in the cornmeal. I don't do no fancy panko or anything like that. We use what we have in the house. And there we go. Now I get the rest of these done, and by the time I'm finished with that, the caramelized onions should be ready. Alrighty. They are done, and they look delicious, and they smell delicious. So, normally I don't use a metal spatula in my organic cookware, but I don't feel like dirtying up another utensil, so I'm going to put these to the side for right now. Now we got to get ready for our tomatoes. They are ready. We'll turn this up to a medium-high heat. Putting us some good olive oil in here, nice and fruity. To start dropping our green tomatoes in. Our grease is ready. We're going to start dropping in tomatoes. When they get brown, golden brown, flip them over to the other side, and we'll take them out, and we'll be ready to eat after that. No, I gotta make my horsey sauce first, but then we'll be ready to eat. Gonna make the horsey sauce. 2 big old heaping teaspoons of prepared horseradish. 2 teaspoons of mayonnaise, and 2 teaspoons of sour cream. And then we put a good healthy portion of cayenne pepper right on top. Stir it all in. For that extra little kick. And there we go. And we're ready to make a plate. Let's do it. Alright, we are done. This looks absolutely fabulous. Here's our polenta, southern style polenta. Put a couple down like that. Then the wonderful porcupine meatballs. I think I want about 3 of them. Put that nice gravy all over that. Then, look at these beautiful fried green tomatoes. I'll put me one right there. Put me a little caramelized onion. Balsamic caramelized onion. Put me one like that. Little dollop of homemade horsey sauce. And that's dinner. Y'all come back and join us as soon as you can. Please share us with your friends and family and subscribe. And we'll be back soon enough.